Kids Podcast.
You can go slow.
A kids podcast about.
Hello, my name is Ari, and I'm a producer for podcasts here at A Kids Company About. We're on a mission to empower a generation of kids through diverse storytelling. And we're doing this through podcasts like the one you're listening to right now. Check out all our books, podcasts, and classes by visiting akidscode.com.
What is mindfulness?
It's like a place to go in your brain or in your mind that's peaceful and nice and to just be able to get away.
Mindfulness is like thinking of your own needs and meeting them.
Mindfulness is like being aware and paying attention with all of your senses and in your body, heart, and mind.
The teens that I work with define mindfulness as being here and now with kindness. I love that definition. It's so simple. Being here and now with kindness.
Welcome to A Kid's Book About, the podcast. I'm Matthew. I'm a teacher, a librarian, and I'm your host. The voices you heard at the top of our show were from Georgia, Owen, Priyanka, and Caverly. Each week, we talk about the big things going on in your world with a different author from our A Kid's Book About series.
Hi, my name is Caverly Morgan, and I am a white, able-bodied, cisgendered dog mom. I don't actually have dogs that are my biological children, but my dogs are my children.
When you say, I am a boy or I am a girl, I feel like a boy, I feel like a girl, you're communicating your gender. Cisgender means that you feel like you identify with the body parts you were born with, specifically your private areas. By contrast, transgender individuals feel that their gender identity does not match with the body parts they were born with.
I'm the author of a kid's book about mindfulness.
Today I'm talking to Caverly about mindfulness. That's a word you've probably heard before. It comes up when we talk about meditation. It comes up when we talk in schools about SEL, which stands for Social Emotional Learning. You may already practice and make time for mindfulness in your day. You may even already be practicing mindfulness and just don't know to call it that yet. So to start, Caverly suggests a single word.
I think the most important word to focus on is presence. How often are you moving through your day and you're not present? And what I mean here is that my attention is on things other than what's here and now. And specifically, if I'm not being kind to myself and not being kind to others, then my attention's not here and now because it's engaged, it's caught in some story. It's caught in some internal narrative.
Oh, I know I should be paying attention to what Caverly is saying right now, but I just can't stop thinking about my friend and whether or not that thing I said hurt her feelings. I haven't heard from her in a few days, and I don't think I did anything wrong, but the waiting is making me feel like maybe I did. And wait, what did Caverly just say? Presence. Bringing our attention to the things happening here and now.
Our very being is present, open, aware, happy, engaged with life, connected. And we tend to do a lot of things with our attention that lead us to forgetting that truth. Again, that's not bad or wrong, but that we have the capacity that we can direct our attention so we can place it where we want it to be is a real gift.
It's not bad that maybe your mind wanders. It's not wrong that maybe you think or worry or anticipate other things that happened or are going to happen. But you are also given the gift of being present. And that's a gift I want to encourage you to accept as often as possible.
You know, we get to live the lives that we're here to live. We get to be fully alive. We get to be engaged. You know, how much of our lives are we missing when we're caught thinking about the past or worried about the future? We miss the beauty of what's here. And maybe we miss the hardship of what's here too, right? So it's not that having your attention in the present moment makes everything rosy all the time, but it means that you're here for what is.
So tell me, how does practicing mindfulness make you feel?
Thinking about being mindful makes me feel calm.
When I think about being mindful, I feel aware of where I am.
Well, it makes me realize that I can go to a place anytime I want if I'm stressed or sad or angry, to just be alone and it to be quiet.
When I think about being mindful, when I do it, I have I have little tingles in my skin, and I feel really relaxed and calm, and I also feel alive in my body, as if I was inside of my body and I can hear my heart beating and I know what's happening inside. Kind of like being alert, I guess you could say.
Practicing mindfulness makes me feel alive. You know, again, we can be fully engaged with the lives we're here to live when we know how to recognize if the attention's off in thought or carried away by strong emotion. Nothing wrong with those things, but when we can notice that, the most beautiful thing about mindfulness is we're empowered to bring the attention back to the present moment. And when the attention's in the present moment, we tend to feel alive, engaged with life. We tend to get a better sense of our own being.
Hi, my name is Jonah, and I want to tell you about A Kid's Class About, an all-new streaming platform for kids and teens. I took the class on Discovering Your Passion with teacher Kevin Carroll, and it was amazing and inspiring. I can't wait to check out more classes. There are even classes focused on careers, classes on life skills, and classes on big ideas. And if you're a kid or a teen, I think you're going to love them. Visit akidsco.com and sign up for a free 14-day trial.
Here at A Kids Company About, we make podcasts, but also books, classes, and even more for kids and families just like yours. We've got a couple new and upcoming books in our Little Book About Board book series, embracing toddlerhood's most essential topics. Here's one of our authors sharing a sneak peek.
Hey, my name's Alicia, and I'm the author and illustrator of A Little Book About Grit, a new book in the series about what it means to never give up and how that superpower supercharges your growth. Learn more about A Little Book About Grit by visiting akidsco.com.
And in my experience, the very nature of our being is happiness. So how do I feel when I'm practicing mindfulness? I feel happy.
We'll be back in a minute with Caverly and the answer to a question submitted by a listener right after this quick break. Welcome back to A Kid's Book About, the podcast. On today's episode, we're talking about mindfulness with Caverly Morgan. In all that Caverly is sharing, I can't help but feel connected to how she talks about mindfulness, attention, and presence. I also want to turn my attention to you, whomever you are, and with whomever you're listening to this episode, whether that's with your classmates or your family or someone else. You, by focusing on this conversation, are practicing mindfulness. I love that. And Caverly loves that too.
Yeah, I mean, I love that you brought in that people listening right now might have an experience of mindfulness. You can have an experience of mindfulness just by noticing that you're paying attention to the sound of our voices. Right here, right now, these voices are happening in this moment. And if you can do that, then you could do that for the rest of your day or all week, meaning you could use sound as an anchor of sorts. I'm not asking you to focus on the sound that happened yesterday, and I'm not asking you to focus on the sound that's going to happen tomorrow. I'm asking you to focus on the sounds around you right now. That can help bring the attention to the present moment.
This is the perfect time for me to share a question one of our listeners submitted. Owen in Maryland submitted this question, and I feel like it gives all of us the perfect opportunity to do a self-check.
Question I have about mindfulness is, what completely is being mindful? What are some things that are mindful? Am I being mindful right now, or am I not?
Oh, and that is such a sensitive and beautiful question. I'm so glad that you asked it. You know, just that you're aware enough to say, am I being mindful right now, shows a level of mindfulness. Right? Like you're paying attention to your experience in this moment. Some people think mindfulness means sitting on a meditation cushion. It doesn't at all. You might sit on a meditation cushion or meditate in a chair, but mindfulness is also paying attention to whatever experience you're having in this moment. And so that you're saying to me, am I being mindful right now, suggests that absolutely you are. You're paying attention to your experience right now. You're being aware of the fact that you're aware.
Being aware actually has a lot to do with how Caverly became involved in a kid's book about.
I was flying across the country and there was an empty seat on the plane. Someone was sitting in my seat. So I just said to myself, well, rather than causing a ruckus, I'll just sit in this empty one here because it's such an interesting person sitting right next to me if I choose that one. That person ended up being the author of a kid's book about belonging. And I adore that person. And I can see that you do too. You must have already interviewed Kevin. Is that true?
Okay, a quick word since I know this is a podcast, and so you can't see what I looked like when I was interviewing Caverly. Although I suspect you probably have a guess based on how she responded. Am I right? Kevin Carroll is the author of a kid's book about belonging. He's also the author of What's Your Red Rubber Ball?, an outstanding book about play and finding your passion. Kevin is a very special person in Jelani Memory's life. And Jelani Memory, as some of you may already be connecting, is the founder of a kid's book about. Of all the seats Caverly could have taken on that plane ride, what are the chances?
So I just was blessed. I really was blessed. It was a wonderful experience of divine intervention. By the end of the flight, I felt I had a new good friend, and he told me I needed to know Jelani.
Speaking of finding your passion, Caverly has been using mindfulness to serve and support teens in schools local to her.
I created a nonprofit called Peace in Schools, and we bring mindfulness into the public schools here in Portland, Oregon, and soon beyond. I've been passionate for a long time now about bringing the tools that have changed my life to young people. The most common thing people say to me when they hear about Peace in Schools, if they're an adult, is, I wish I had a mindfulness practice when I was young. So Peace in Schools brings mindfulness practice to young people, and now we bring practice to educators and others who work with young people as well. But in the beginning, it was just me creating this semester-long credited course in Portland, Oregon with the teens who were right there in front of me.
I wonder if any of you listening have participated in Peace in Schools or have siblings that have participated. Write me and let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Before we go, Naya in Maryland asked a question that feels to me like a question for all of us. So here's Naya.
When you practice mindfulness, what do you think about?
Feel free to stop and consider that. Share your responses with a grown-up if they're nearby, or a sibling, or a friend. And when you're ready, here's one last message from Caverly.
Our world would look very different if we all deeply valued each other's being and our own being. It's quite profound what we're doing when we come together to prioritize being present and mindful with each other. So thanks for being here.
Thank you to Caverly Morgan, author of a kid's book about mindfulness, for joining us today. And thanks to our very special kid voices for helping make this episode what it is.
My name is Georgia. I am not 10 years old and I live in Ohio. My favorite thing is to watch movies.
Hi, my name is Owen. I am 9 and I'm from Maryland. I like to do art, draw, and sometimes color.
Hi, my name is Priyanka. I'm 10 years old and I live in New York State. My favorite thing is making crafts and tinkering with things.
Hi, my name is Naya, and I am 12 years old. I live in Maryland. My favorite hobby is to draw animals.
My name is Nico. I am 7 years old and I live in Maryland. My favorite thing to do is throw balls into basketball hoops.
Thank you, Georgia, Owen, Priyanka, Naya, and Nico. If you want to be on a future episode of A Kid's Book About, the podcast, or if you have a question you'd like us to consider, have a grown-up email us at listen@akidspodcastabout.com, and we'll send you the details. A Kid's Book About, the podcast, is written, edited, and produced by me, Matthew Winner, with help from Chad Michael Snavely and the team at Sound On Studios. Our executive producer is Jelani Memory, and this show was brought to you by A Kid's Podcast About. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever podcasts are found. And if you like this episode, consider sharing it with a friend, teacher, or grown-up. We love when you rate and review the show. We also love hearing from you. Join us next week for a conversation about change with A Kid's Book About author David Kim. Hi, this is Matthew, and I'm head of podcasts at A Kid's Company About. We hope you enjoyed this show, and we'd love for you to check out our growing library of shows at A Kid's Podcast About. Whether you're looking for storytelling with crafts and activities, fact-finding with experts and enthusiasts, or looking to explore and understand your world better, we have got a podcast for you. Check out the A Kid's Podcast About channel on Apple Podcasts or wherever podcasts are found, or visit akidsco.com.